going on? I'm trying to keep up with life, man, and I'm in a different place in my life where my team is a winning team. Ain't that about a bitch? You know what I'm saying? My team is a winning team, and I don't even know how to act. We got winning record and shit. It's crazy to think of when you're a Browns fan, right? How in the hell can it be that you have a winning team? This is amazing to me. No, seriously. You know, I'm trying to share this video, and y'all, I don't know. This shit's crazy. I'm live. They say go home. Y'all give me 1 second. Please hit like and all that good stuff. Subscribe and all that. All that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit as I get going. What's going on, Pitbull Bell? Happy belated birthday. Oh man, I can't wait to see my grandbabies, Andrew, D King. Once again, shout out to Pitbull Bell. Happy belated birthday, even though it's the birthday weekend. Michael Ortiz. Ultimate Opportunist, what's going on, brother? Hopefully you out there enjoying the family time. Um, which was that Canino Bullies, what's going on? Northern Edge. Happy holidays. What's going on, Chris Hunter? I had to check, Justin. I've been on the phone ever since then. I've been on the phone like the phone don't stop ringing, so I never get a chance to check anything till late as hell. You know what I mean? Hey, well, real tribe bulls. I always say this. What's going on, Don? Yeah, lucky he dropped the ball. Then we could say lucky that they refused to call holding on Miles Garrett, and lucky that the Browns offensive line is down to literally one starting lineman. So that's the way football goes, man. It's been some moments, It's been some moments. That's the way football goes. Drop passes, missed opportunities, kill you every time. Kill you every time. Man, I remember, you know, yeah, Chris, hit me up, man. But a lot of people have been asking me about the young male that I posted. And I tell y'all, like, I'm not a magical photographer, so when y'all see me post a picture, if I got out, like, and I never have time to do it, but if I got out my old Canon, what do they call that damn thing? The 70D, 80D, whatever D it is, and I took some good pictures, like a lot of the dogs that I've even posted for sale, they look very, very good, but a lot of times, well, I'm gonna tell y'all my routine. I'll be leaving the house. I'll take my phone and I'll start videoing them. And whatever like pose I catch them in where they stop, I'll just screenshot it. You know, put it together and put it up here. But a lot of the dogs that I posted, I breed for confirmation. So like I've told some people, and it's just weird like how some of these deals have gone and have not gone. A lot of my fault because I never answered the phone. You know what I'm saying? I don't work out my dogs. We have an acre out here. The dogs run and test themselves. Yeah, Chris, I got some stuff coming up. I appreciate that. But I don't work out my dogs. They work out themselves. Sometimes a little too rough. Had one that damn near lost an eye the other day. And they do some sparring, and a lot of times I'll let them spar, but sometimes they get a little too serious. But yeah, they run. Like I'll let out 5, 6, 7 dogs. Excuse me, at a time, and they'll wrestle. Now, my neighborhood, I used to go out and I used to put the weight vest on them, or just walk them. The bigger dogs like Mandela, I would put the weight vest on him. Denzel, when he was living, I would put a little weight vest on him sometimes. But in our neighborhood, for whatever reason, these people don't believe in tying up their dogs or putting their dogs up. So it's hard for me to even do any like real conditioning with the dogs because they let them run. You know what I mean? Like they. I'm sorry, y'all. The damn brown shit keep popping up. But yeah, they're crazy because in my neighborhood they all look. All they do is let the dogs run, so I can't do anything bully broadcast. So really, I just let them exercise themselves. But my no, I always say, great genetics is one thing. The weight vest is another one. One thing I don't recommend, and a lot of people do, is the weighted collar. And the reason being is that extra stress on the neck is something else. If you're going to do a weighted collar, it needs to be very, 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 very light. I've been seeing people have like 10-pound collars on their dogs' necks trying to build neck muscles. And that's pretty dangerous because it's a lot of weight on your dog's neck. And if your dog slips a disc or anything like that, it can cause severe issue. I had a veterinarian recently tell me that people who are doing the heavy, heavy chains or heavy, excuse me, I don't know why I keep yawning, collars, it's more detrimental than good. So yeah, I'll do the vest, and I like basic walking. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Although this family of dogs, Mandela and Denzel both have dogs that are champions in different sporting activities. I try not to run my dogs as much. You know what I mean? I try not to run my dogs like hard and do things like lower coursing with them as much because these dogs, you know what I mean. Yeah, pit bull bell. It's pretty rough to see that, and they they don't know what kind of damage they're doing to the dogs. But yeah, it's pretty rough. You know what I mean? I think if you have a good dog, the weighted vest should be enough. If you're lucky enough to let your dog swim, that swimming is great to exercise your dog. Um, weight pool is a great exercise to condition your dog. I think more people, especially with these dogs, should get in the weight pool because they excel. Like if you can see the bullies that Denzel has a champion son, Crusher. He kills it in the weight pool, and I've seen a lot of the other more bigger dogs in this breed excel at the weight pool. So you know what I mean. Hey Larry, don't come on here with that Raven shit. I'm so tired of you already. I'm tired of you already, Larry. You know what I'm saying? But when you boil down to it is that I think basic exercising, basic exercise for these dogs should be enough. I don't know why everybody has such a problem with just the basic exercising because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these bullies, and that's what I was getting at about the lure coursing and different things like that. I've been fortunate enough to not have a dog tear a CCL, but it seems to be a epidemic in this breed. And the thing of it is, I think it's attributed to size. The size of these dogs, they're really not made, a lot of them, let me just put it that way, a lot of them are not made to be the most agile, fast dogs. Yeah. How could I forget Pit Bull Bell? The flirt pole is another great one. But I think a lot of my dogs just have it through genetics, man. They are genetic freaks. Either they have it or they don't. And the running and stuff that they do, it really helps them out. So I sort of stick with that. I sort of stick with that train of thought. But I do like weight pool because I love the way that the weight pool dogs look, man. The weight pool dogs look incredible. They look incredible, man. They're some of the best dogs. They're some of the best dogs out there. As far as their muscle tone and things like that. They ain't playing with you. But it's great to have that. That's a great question, Bully Broadcast, because not enough people are conditioning these dogs. What's going on, Edge One Kennel? Not enough people are understanding. And yes, I'm still playing with this thing. And for whatever reason, it is not taking me to my main page. It is, for whatever reason, I'm trying to share it to YouTube. If any of y'all are there, try to share it to YouTube. But my YouTube page has sort of gone crazy to where it won't let me share anything. And I don't think this has anything at all to do with anybody doing anything to my page or any of that nonsense. It's just sort of doing its own thing, so it's all good, man. I won't worry about it. If it works, yeah, it's not showing up, so whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. People will catch up to this. I'll share it later. But I'll tell you what, it was interesting, and we end up on this topic, and I'm going to touch this topic, and you've seen I touch this topic in other videos. But I tell y'all what, and please hit like. If you haven't subscribed, which I guarantee you most of you have subscribed, subscribe. And if you want to do any of those donations, I appreciate y'all who did send the donations, the ones and the fives and on up. You know, y'all great people. I appreciate you. It is TBKC Dogs on the Cash App. Now, people are trying to figure out the differences and why I said the splitting of the breeds. And as you've seen, or you may not have seen some of the earlier videos, I said I'm going to, the next series of videos this week, and if you are not in the program actually has 8 spots now. 2 of the spots were taken up. There's some good videos coming in there. Some of these that go along with these dogs, but in detail. But I'm going to start doing a series of pretty much where I recap the dogs, and I sort of try to bring them to life through stories, through explanations of the dogs, through comparisons of the dogs. I'm going to tell you the truth. There was a lot of talk about, do I think that Paco, the legendary Paco, could beat Hangman in a show? That was a good question. And it really sort of sparked my thought process. I'm like, And the thing of it is because Hangman is such a well put together dog, which he is. I really liked what I seen from him. Beautiful front, you know, nice head shape and everything. And it took me down memory lane, and I said, well, if I'm thinking of Paco and I'm judging and I'm not trying to be biased, it would be a hell of a competition. And the reason being is because if anybody ever seen Paco, he really didn't have a weak spot. Everything that y'all see from Hangman now, Paco had years ago. If you want to talk about an overall very, very like super thick body, you know, nice shoulder set, incredible movement, you know, big head for his body size. I really sat there for about 10 to 15 minutes just going over Paco, and did I still believe that Paco would be the hardest male of all time to beat? And I have to tell you guys, excuse me, I've been yawning all damn day and I'm not really that tired. Paco would probably be, to this day, one of the hardest dogs to beat in the show ring. I'm just being honest with y'all. If y'all ever seen Paco in person, y'all would know what I'm talking about. Top line, immaculate. Very good rear end movement. Incredible front end movement, overall movement. Incredible ring presence. And ring presence matters. A dog looking like he wants to be there, enjoying himself, just, you know what I mean, just taking over the ring. Paco might be one of the best ever to do that. But my hardest problem would be, where would I take off for Paco? And this is one of the reasons why sometimes I get irritated and I get very, very adamant when people try to say that the old dogs couldn't do this or couldn't do that. What's going on, Robert Vaughn? We got to get on the phone tomorrow, brother. It was one of them weeks. I don't know if Paco is in Hangman's pedigree. Probably. Paco is in everybody's pedigree. But you know what I mean? It would be, this is where I would think that I don't think that Hangman just dominates Paco in any area at all. I think the biggest thing would be is could Hangman show like Paco? Because when you talked about Hef, right? And Hef had a little bit of a stiff stifle, but sometimes he could, he moved well enough that he covered it up. But if you were really trying to pick Hef apart, he did have a little bit of a stiff stifle. But the reason why Hef would beat Paco sometimes is because Hef would show up and Hef would be on point. So sometimes, you know what I mean, it would just be that they were that close at times. And the one time that, I mean, and the one time where you could say that, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Hef only beat Paco once. But the one time that he did beat him, the one thing that I could say about the ladies' man was that he was very, very well put together that day. And what I mean is, like, if y'all know showing dogs, some days dogs will come in and their weight will be great. They're not dehydrated. They look very, very full, coat shiny. They're all the way on point. And then other days they'll come in and it won't be quite the same. This could do, what's going on, Rico? I actually just finished up some stuff to send over to your lady. I got behind, unfortunately, and you know what I'm saying, y'all see me on the other video. As I said, unfortunately, Mia's cousin passed away, and I had a relative back home, distant relative, not really close, that passed away, but it was sort of unexpected. So it did sort of get me in my thoughts of the day. So, you know, God bless her and her family. But yeah, I'm taking care of that tonight, Rico, so we can move forward. But what's, you know, when you look at those dogs, man, it was Paco and Hef were like, who shows up better this day? And these are actually something other than jelly beans. Not CBD, they're actually like energy beans. But I appreciate it, Rico. This is what gets us on an open debate, right? And that open debate would be, how would the dogs of the past stand up? Somebody brought up an interesting point, which I would be biased. Could Hangman beat Hallie in her prime? Now, although Hallie and Paco are eye to eye, one of the problems, me judging, that I would have saying that Hangman could ever beat Paco was this. I mean, excuse me, Hallie would be this, the feminine aspect. If you get a female, and this is what she was known for, people used to always be like, where's her balls at? Because if you didn't see Hallie from the back in her prime, you know what I mean? No, not currently. I haven't bred Denzel in a couple years. Yeah, since he passed away. I got some frozen, but I think I might do a Denzel breeding next year. Yeah, next year, or very, very late this year. I mean, 2024. Hallie's bone. I got some line bred stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I got some couple males right now, Chris Hunt, that are literally 8 or 9 times Denzel. But the thing of it is this. Hallie would show up to shows and she would tip the scale by the fact that she could stand next to Paco. She would stand, oh, for sure. She could stand next to Hef and you couldn't tell that she was a female. She literally would stand in there, and this is how I sort of can guess how much Paco weighed, is because her and Paco would be together, and it's amazing that there's not many pictures of them because they showed against each other multiple times. But if you ever seen any of them, Chris, hit me up, 346 292 6560. So yeah, and I'll post them up on here. But yeah, they're very, very nice boys. Yeah, I know y'all, those who have called me about dogs and stuff, I know I'm very inconsistent. Just life is lifing me right now. It's lifing me to death, but I'm trying to catch up. So I'll post up all these dogs and y'all get with me with my number. But it's some good stuff there, man. It's some good stuff. The younger tri males are very, very, very Denzel. And the older boys are a lot of Denzel, but they're very high quality. Very high quality. I wish they were females. I'd be set on females if they were females. But as I was saying, like Hallie, man, she leveled up with the males very, very well. And like I say, she was pushing right around the 15 and a half to 16-inch mark. Hallie's best weight was around 85 pounds, but she could get up to the low 90s, like 91, 92. But I think she was sort of fat at that point. She looked a little too big. But let me see. I'll try to catch the questions. The original breeders, we just wanted to do a pit bull on steroids. We liked the pit bull look. This is why when we wrote the standards, everything was directed at staying away from anything bulldog. But we wanted them to be bigger. That's it. Pit bull on steroids, and we're talking about more the UKC style pit bull. You know what I mean? But you looked at, say, the Sierra Gaff blood, and a lot of the Sierra Gaff blood, the dogs were bigger, a little bit more muscular, but we wanted to exaggerate that. Like, if you watch a lot of videos, you'll hear, even back then, a lot of people referred to Cairo as one of the perfect examples of what an American Bully was supposed to be back in the day. And, we even wanted him a little bit fuller. Then you advance to dogs like Pokemon, which was a great representation of what the American Bully was supposed to be. Still had the cheeky look, still had the tighter skin, still was very wide. And if you looked at Pokemon, I'll use him as an example. But if you looked at Pokemon or if you looked at Remy, this was the most amazing thing. You never confused them for pit bulls. You knew that they were something different. What they were, if you didn't know the American Bully breed, you wouldn't know. But you knew that these dudes, like, hey, they come from pit bulls, but what are they? And their look was so unique when you start talking about Remy and Pokemon and Paco that you didn't confuse them with Pressas, which Pressas, as we know, is a pit bull breed, They were very, very identifiable. That look was very, very identifiable. And it is the reason why the world loved that look. Like, if you look at the most popular dogs from that era, you would be talking about Remy. Well, the funniest part, ultimate opportunist about Monster J, is that he looked like an edge dog. I seen Monster J, and if you ever seen them two dogs in person, Remy and Monster J, you would be surprised how much they resembled each other in person. They resembled the hell out of each other in person. It's just Monster J was Rico, they had to keep evolving. I don't even understand their evolution theory. But Monster J was incredible. The only problem with Monster J, there's the same problem with Remy. Motherfuckers was too hot. So you'd have been, excuse me, as I, take care of my ashy ass lips. Pee Wee was incredible. Now you talk about Pee Wee, Braden bullies. What about Clydesdale? Clydesdale was an incredible bully. Clydesdale could... Now, one thing with Clydesdale is that Clydesdale was a little bit off balance, right? Clydesdale had that monstrous chest, beautiful front end, but his rear end was a little weak compared to his front end. But that only really was happening. If you would have never seen his front end, you'd have been like, his rear end was cool. But just, he was massive across the chest. You know what I mean? Beautiful, beautiful head. Pee Wee was a hell of a producer. I actually made Ganman with a Pee Wee daughter. Think about this combination. If you ever want to know about Ganman's pedigree, Ganman's mother was littermate sisters to King Kamali's mother. Hold on, excuse me. Ganman's grandmother is littermates to King Kamali's mother. It was that littermate bred to Pee Wee that made his mother, and then I took Denzel and bred it to his mother. That pedigree is fire. Some of my best work. That's why I love pedigrees, because if you have a real pedigree, and this is why I want to get back to the point where our pedigrees is real, because it makes breeding easy. No, Little Ro was the one that had one testicle. Paco was fully intact. Little Ro was a dwarf, you know what I mean? Little Ro was the beginning of the pocket, and a lot of people want us to explain that. The reason why Little Ro was acceptable to use is because this is one of those situations where you're in a position that you're literally building. This is why no one is ever hard on Little Ro, because, you know what I mean? He was the truth, you know? He was the beginning, you know? Halle B is Denzel's mother. Her father is Thug. Thug was a beautiful dog. But you know that we don't have the pedigrees anymore to help us breed, and it's sad. And what I mean by that, yeah, you have a piece of paper, but you don't have truth behind them. And it's one of the reasons why so many people, even people who have good intentions, see their breeding sort of go down the drain, because you're breeding to the lies, you're breeding to the misfortune that is happening in this game. And shout out to my good buddy Tyler Malone. Tyler Malone actually went at Dave Wilson and got blocked. But he didn't go at him in a disrespectful manner. But Dave made a comment on one of his pages that he's breeding to his opinion. He's breeding to what he thinks is right. And Tyler just corrected him, like, you know what I mean? Why are you breeding to what you think is correct? We should be breeding towards a standard, and that's so true, because it people's opinion has just. I don't understand. Hold on. Okay, I took my AirPods out of my pocket. They were trying to pick up the phone call. I mean, they were trying to pick up the phone, so I took them out of my pocket. But we've gotten to the point that the breed is lost, and the reason why the breed is lost is because of the deception. I know I mentioned Dave a lot, and I have to. Y'all have to understand that what we're doing now is pretty much like an election type thing, to where I have to keep on bringing up everything that they do wrong, to keep it in the ears of the public, so that the public can understand truly that something is being done wrong. Because if we live in a world where we allow people to constantly tell lies and constantly misconstrue the truth and constantly change things around to their advantage, those who know no better, especially with these being people who should have great credentials, will go about this business and believe everything they say. I'm not patting myself on the back, but you don't know how many messages I get from people telling me that without me saying what I've said and giving the information that I've given, what's going on, Terrence, that they would be lost in this breed because they've often been told so many lies. I've given you all of the reasons that I've had of why Dave does what he does. We know it now. The general public knows everything that is going on, right? With that being said, we also are smart enough now to understand what has been done to the real American bully. What I continue to tell you guys, and this is my only goal, and it's not an argument, it's not a debate. Exactly, Chris Hunter. What the TBKC is about, and what you will see in 2024, is this. It's not an argument. The ABKC has told you that the Remy's of the world, the Pokemons of the world, the Pacos of the world, all of the dogs that established this breed, anything that is not pretty much looking like muscle tone or any of these extreme dogs that we don't too much care for, are not American bullies. We are taking all of those dogs. We want those dogs. We want the Remy's of the world. We want the old true American bullies, and we want to lock in the pedigrees. We want to lock in start pushing for more health testing. We want to perfect that. It's no longer an argument, and this is what I'm telling you guys. It's no longer an argument. It's not TBKC versus ABKC in any way. You know what they say that the real American bully is trash. Well, let us take out the trash for you. That's it. I have no interest in a Rocco. I have no interest in a God, what is his name, King Kong. I have no interest in Brim, Tim, Grim, none of those bulldog mix type dogs. I have no interest in any of those. I have no interest in Merles. I want to take things back to the basics. And when I say basics, I mean basics in a good way. I want to create a place where real American bullies can compete against other dogs. I am doing well in making ground and talking to people from other breeds. My good friend and brother who's going to be a judge, Rico, has great connections in the weight pool world. We have connections all around. Eventually, we want to get to lure coursing. We want to get to more activities, obedience, temperament testing. We want to elevate this breed to being something that's respectable, and we just don't agree with the extreme. And like, I understand that they're taking shots at us, and with the what we're calling the leather helmet bullies. As if y'all missed that part, Dave Wilson said that the people who have extremes are in the pros, and the people who still want to breed the old bullies are like the old people who used to have the leather helmets. We're not the NFL. They are. You know what I mean? Even stooped as low as to say we were the high school guys, and we were stuck back in high school, still talking about the high school dogs. And I'm fine with all of that weird shit negativity that he's trying to spew, because at the end of the day, we know that the Remy's and the Pee-wees, and you go down the list, the Denzels, the Halleys, the Rock and Rubies of the world, those are very, very nice dogs. The Armanis of the world. As y'all see right now, we used we used Armani semen to make Chubb, right? That is semen that was frozen 24 years ago now, as he's a year old. And Chubb is very, very bully. As a matter of fact, Chubb is bullier than a lot of the dogs that we see on a day-to-day basis. So it goes further to prove what we've been saying, is that you don't have to add a bulldog to get a bully. Chubb, if this is my guesstimate, knowing the blood that he comes from, with Eddie from Blue Lions Blood and Armani and the way he's growing now, Chubb will probably be like a lot like Mandela, 16 inches, over 100 pounds, very well muscled. His temperament is like the old dogs. He's a little more hot. Now, don't get me wrong, he lives in the house with four other males, excuse me. And he has no problem. They pretty much get along, everything. But when they're out on the yard, he wants to be dominant. That's the part where I have to check him at, because when he's out on the yard, he feels like, which most dogs do, that this is the yard. I have to own the yard. So he'll get in a scrape with a couple dogs, and he hates when dogs come up to the fence, and he bucks at them pretty tough. But you're talking about a tank, and keep in mind, this summer, even though he wasn't a full year old or whatever, he went through that heat situation down here in Texas, where every day was over 100 degrees. So this is what we want to bring back, not just the straws, not just we're gonna unfreeze all of the old dogs. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the durability and the completeness of a dog, of the old dogs. Any of us who were around, we used to go to shows where it was 80 and 90 degrees outside. And these dogs, we never had ice baths. You never had to worry about dogs overheating. We want to get back to that. We want to get back to the point where there's not so many questions about health. You know what I mean? Well, Chris, like I know that, Dave, the world knows is that Dave is all about money. we you can play his videos and hear him contradict himself over and over again. There's videos when Cairo was the complete bully. Then he talked, this was only 10 years ago, where he said, yeah, we're at the point where it's a complete American bully. I think it's like 11 years ago now. And but like, that's why I said, Chris, that I'm going to flip the page in 2024 to where it's not even about them anymore. It's about us taking our community back. It's about a place where you can have pride to show real American bullies. You don't have to worry about some dumbasses screaming and talking about, oh yeah, that's that old stuff, and it's all about the extreme. Y'all can have the extreme. We're cool with that. I'm being very transparent when I tell you that those extreme dogs are disqualifications in the TBKC. If your dog is way overdone, shoulders way overdone, that's it. You know what I mean? We've already started the process where we already actually have 2 vets that are on board, and they're giving us tips and breaking down some things that are unhealthy for the dogs. Our movement is to make healthier, more stable dogs to present for a breed. We're serious about making a breed, not making money. You know what I mean? So when you do your registrations and different things like that, as you see, I already have a car. I don't need to buy another car. I don't need to buy another truck. I'm not in it for that. Those resources will go towards improving breeds. I want to put more money into doing more ecropsies on some of these dogs that died to find out what they are dying from, especially at young ages. We'll be aggressive about that. If somebody has a dog that dies early, we're going to try to make our lines open so that they can call somebody and we can get in touch with their vet. Take your dog over to the vet. Let's get an ecropsy. Let's see what was wrong with that dog. And let's see if we can go forward and find a way to start fixing the problems that are in our genetic gene pool. This is something that needs to happen. It's sad that we are, 20 years into the game of the American bully, and we have yet to discuss any of the health problems and are introducing new ones. I keep telling y'all about the shoulder issues. The extreme shoulder sets that you're seeing on these dogs, and why they look like they're bowing and why they look like they're turning. That is a serious problem in the joint. If we could take away all the skin and everything, and you see the way that joint is set, imagine, and this is just geometry. The shoulder itself is supposed to, you want that shoulder on the dog to sit at a point to where the ball is going into it like this. And I'm not even turning my hands. You want that to be in there sort of tight. You don't want angles. The reason why you don't want an angle, of course, is look where my wrist is. So if my wrist is there and you have an angle, as it starts to push, you're going to get a turn. You want, oh, GoFundMe Dave. Let's not start about that. The GoFundMe that he never did anything with. The people in the UK still haven't heard anything from the UK, but they were accepting money for a GoFundMe. Dave is a piece of shit. But it's crazy, man. But the thing of it is that's amazing, is that they are not teaching the basic science of dog anatomy. You don't want any of the dog's joints to be at a bad angle. You want it just like a table. If y'all have ever heard me say this, and then for those who don't know, and some of you will watch this later, I am a veterinary medicine student. I just didn't finish. I do understand anatomy in many ways. If you think of a table, right? Now, we're not talking about people being extra fancy and all this shit. But a normal table, and the way they normally put tables, because somebody reminded me of some tables. I've had a couple tables that were built sort of weird, but that was more art. A table that is meant for purpose, the leg will be straight, very, very straight up into what we will call the joint, right? All four. If it gets too long, of course, you put more in the middle. Well, with a dog, you don't want the dog too long, because you can't put legs in the middle. That's why I talk about the long backs. If the back is long according to proportion and force, that means the only thing that can absorb the extra force and that is being applied there is the spine. This is why as some of the dogs get older, you notice that they get more and more sway back, because the spine is not designed to hold weight. That will give eventually. You even sometimes see it in puppies where they start to go and that back dips and dips and dips and dips and dips. It's because of the weight in the midsection, and it's too long. It's not a great structure there to hold it together. We all know the longer things get, the weaker they get. This is the reason why, you know, engineers build bridges, and they allow them to move as they get longer, because they're weak, and if they couldn't move, they would snap. Aloha 808. Well, you're seeing this, and I'm doing these analogies so that you get a good example of what I'm talking about with the dogs. The bowed legs. The bowed legs is constantly putting force in areas where you don't want force on a bowed leg, because it's always got a weak point to where the force is going at an angle that is not along with the bone. When the dog is built correctly, all of the force is going along with the bones. When a dog is built incorrectly, you see a bow, you see a shoulder setting wrong. That means the force is going against the joint and going against the bone and going against the ligaments. This is one of the reasons why we have a high propensity for CCL tears and other ligament tears in this breed. This is one of the reasons why you see the dogs move so funny. And I'm not being insensitive, but I'm being honest with you guys. The reason why you see some of these 2 and 3 year old dogs moving that way, it's sad. And I'm going to be realistic with you. It's because of this. A lot of these dogs, by the time they get to 2 and 3 years old, their owners are not taking them to the veterinarian. Their owners are not having x-rays done on them. Those dogs that you see that look like they're limping, or they're sort of like they move like robots, it's real clunky, they're jerking from side to side, most of those dogs are already having severe joint issues. This is basic anatomy. When you start putting a very, very heavily built dog on a structure that is not structurally sound, you're going to have breaking points. Believe that. No matter what you do, no matter how you try to avoid this, it is going to happen. You are putting a dog on a bad frame and putting immense amounts of weight on this. It's going to break down. It's the same thing with the heart. And I keep telling people this. If you put a dog, and y'all have heard me, and some of y'all heard me, some of y'all have not, but I will repeat it. If you get a dog, right, and you get this beautiful animal, and he's got all this muscle, and he's got all this weight and all this on there, the heart has to support this. It's one of the reasons that bodybuilders have been suffering of late. The heart has to get enough red blood cell activity and oxygen into the body, or it dies. Tissue starts to die. Everything starts to die without enough oxygen into the body. The lungs have to be able to get this. But the problem is that when you are massive, and any of us who have gained some unwanted pounds know this, the more weight you carry, the more oxygen you need. You breathe a little harder just going upstairs, because your lungs are trying to provide for that body. But imagine having all that body and still having bad lungs. So now you've got bad lungs, or a bad cardiovascular system, which could be a heart murmur, which could be an elongated palate, which could be just something as simple as closed nares, or it could be a combination of all, but there's a lack of oxygen coming in. The heart is working twice as hard. Now the lungs is working twice as hard, and you're giving them twice as much mass to take care of. All the while, because of these deficiencies, they can't exercise these dogs like they're supposed to build the heart and the lungs up. This is one of the reasons why these dogs break down and die in their sleep a lot of times. If you've seen these lives, you've seen people come on and tell you, yeah, I just found my dog dead at 2 years old. Yes, I've just found my dog dead at 3 years old. We had to put this one down at 18 months. The reason you're hearing these things is because these dogs are born to die. From a very young age, they are starting to die. And I'm not being dramatic. This is real. If you think I'm just some bullshitter, I don't get paid for this page at all. Anybody who knows me knows I've never monetized my page because I want to give this information away. I don't ever want you guys to think that it's an ulterior motive for me to try to get paid off of this page. I appreciate the donations, but y'all know, like I know, I don't ask for them a lot. The thing about this is that they're born to die from the very, very beginning. When they're young, what do y'all see? Very, very heavy puppies, right? Well, seeing these very, very heavy puppies, at this time, the cartilage in their joints is soft. But the problem with their cartilage being soft is that it can be damaged a lot easier. But they have massive amounts of weight on them already. They're young, needing oxygen, needing nutrients, and needing everything. You know what I mean? Ryan, I'm sorry about that. Y'all press like. That's one of the reasons I tried to complain, and they said it's because not enough people are pressing like, so they think I'm hiring one of those people to push my numbers up with robots. That's what I got in the email. So if you're in here, please press like, for they won't think that you're a robot watching, and maybe we can get notifications back up. But you know, the thing of this is that this is why I campaign so much and I say healthy dogs. And it's not just the American Bully. We're going to have a lot of conversations with some very, very good Rottweiler breeders, as y'all see on my page, and with the likes and different things. I do have quite a few Roddy people here, including my man Russell and several other people, my man Marcus Livingston. And we're going to talk about the issues with the Roddies. It's a lot of similarities. We're going to talk about the issues with the South African Boerboels and some of the other Mastiffs in the family. Because we like the look of puppies being very, very big and full, you have to understand that a healthy weight is a better weight when they're young. In the bully community, we don't believe in that at all. And this is why you see so many fat puppies, because everybody is trying to prove, look how bully he is. My dog is throwing that fire. I literally starve my puppies. I won't lie to y'all. Any dog that you get from me, I guarantee you when you start feeding it, it'll immediately pick up weight. Because most people don't have the the nerve to do what I do to my puppies, but it's cool. My puppies are healthy, they survive. But generally what I'll do a lot of times is my puppies will only eat 5 days a week. I keep them on a lower amount of food, very high quality food. Right now they're eating Pro Plan. But the thing of it is that you have to do this. What's going on, Blackout? I'm very, very, very much a stickler about the weight of these dogs, because I understand what it does to the joints. All it takes is one damaged growth plate and the dog is terrible for the rest of his life. All it takes is early damage to the cartilage and the joints, and they can start developing arthritis as early as 5 to 6 months with damage to the cartilage. You have to understand that the socket that is let me see. I would have this 808. I would have to see the pedigree, but more than likely, if you got some bossy blood, you got some Mastiff in there. Yeah, that's a lot of the bigger dogs though, so don't feel bad about it. But the only problem with Bossy is they've been accused lately of adding South African Boerboel up front, which is scary, because South Africans are not anything to play around with. What's going on, Daniel? Oh yeah, exactly, Rico. You have to let your puppies grow into their bodies. I like for mine to keep a thinner look. Like, believe it or not, the pictures that y'all seen of Chubb, we don't feed Chubb for him to gain weight. You know what I mean? That's just how he's built. So it goes to let me know, especially knowing his genetics, that over the next year, by the time he's 2 years old, he's gonna look like a monster, because I don't feed a bunch of chicken and other stuff to the young dogs. I lay off of that type of stuff. I just let them do basic dog food, you know what I mean? Not trying to put those pounds and those extra calories and all that stuff. I don't do all that, because I want the dog structure. If you give me a great healthy foundation, the muscle will always come. But our community, with this push for extreme, has gotten so bad that we're tearing these dogs apart. I switched over to Purina Procreate. Well, what's funny is I actually was doing the Pro Plan, and I do Pro Plan and Merrick. Sometimes I do Blue Buffalo, and that's because I was getting a great deal on it. So I had already switched before the recalls. And speaking of those recalls, it seems like all the companies get recalls, and the more I talk to them, they always say that well, not talk to them, but trying to get to the bottom of why these recalls are happening. A lot of times it's like ingredient suppliers. So companies that there was a problem with salmonella with the corn before, that caused a lot of recalls, and I think that was the one that got diamonds. Now there was a problem with, I think it was the blood meal or something like that. It was a problem with that, and that was causing salmonella. So it's strange that a lot of these recalls are salmonella related issues, but really what it boils down to is that bigger companies buy these companies, and they're trying to find cheaper ways to get their ingredients. Um, I tell you, and I'm being honest with you guys, and my man Max, he was warning of this a long time ago. I did notice a big difference in Victor's quality. I hate to say it because they're a potential sponsor, got a hook up there, but I'm always going to be real with y'all, is that I noticed it's not the same. When I started messing with Victor, and I was really pushing Victor probably, I think I started about 2017, I started pushing Victor. One of my friends that owns a feed shop had gave me a couple bags, and I was just amazed because as soon as I start feeding this stuff, man, I didn't even do the cut on it, like mixing it in with nothing. Boom, they come out and it was a little black turd. I'm like, damn. And if y'all know how you is with your dogs. If they shit out a little black turd and there's nothing in there, you like, whoa, this some good shit. Yeah, Mars own a lot of them companies, man. The candy bar people, they own a lot of them. They own Origin, Neutral. Mars got a lot of them. They've been buying up shit. But it's just like now when I noticed, before I switched off of Victor, I was still buying the good stuff, the tail bag and different things like that. Man, the stews wasn't the same. The stews is always like a telltale because when you got a real good kibble, like the best kibbles, that shit is always gonna be like, it's gonna be like you feeding raw. The stews is gonna come out hard as hell. They sucking everything out of them, out of that food. But when you start getting sort of looser stews and they're not quite what they used to be, you can tell that they put some additives in there that wasn't in there before, especially when you didn't even change, like, within the company, you didn't even change the bag. And yeah, Russ, them old cow patties, hard shit to clean up. I used to love to go out there, man, and you know, you could literally, when that food was good, man, you could literally have a broom, and the broom wouldn't even get nasty because the turd was so hard. You just pop that mug over into the pan. You good to go. Now you got to scrape. I mean, you got to shovel it up, then you got to spray it all. It's just a mess. It was from the excuse me, from the Purina. So that's a good thing. But it's sad with these dog food companies because as the bigger companies come in, the pet food industry is one of the biggest industries out there. You know what I mean? Somebody else told me Costco food is good. That's crazy. Cause that, like, literally you the third person I heard to say something about Costco's food. I never tried it, but yeah, they say it's better it's better than Victor. But yeah, it's sad what they did to the food industry. Period. Back in the day, you could feed Ukanuba, and Ukanuba was like feeding raw. Now Ukanuba is trash. Diamonds, y'all know how many dogs I raised on Diamond's puppy, but now it's not quite the same as it used to be. I used to get, man, when I had my Rotties, all my Rotties was on Diamond Puppy, and that was some very good food. Now that shit is like, yeah, profit margin, man. Everybody's on the profit margin thing and putting bullshit in there that they don't need in there, and cutting back on the good ingredients like the meat and the vegetables and stuff. You know what I mean? What's going on, CC? Oh, Rico, it's the exact same thing with these dogs. Watered down, bad ingredients. Ryan, the only thing that saved me with the higher foods is that I work for a rescue, and what happens is it's the strangest shit ever. A lot of rescues like to feed the cheap food. It's strange. They get donations of shit like I say, they give me blue buffalo all the time. They give me blue buffalo. They give me sometimes the Purina. You know what I mean? And they'll feed the dogs the pedigree. And it's strange. I don't know what's up with the hood rat dogs, but the hood rat dogs, like if they eat pedigree, they shit a hard turd. It is the weirdest thing. Cause I asked them, I'm like, do y'all? I had to ask them what Russell was talking about. I was like, so y'all don't like get like, basically what he called the cow patties, like the looser stews and shit like that. I said, y'all don't get that? And they say that they get the looser stews when they feed the good food. So maybe it's because the dogs that they getting at the rescues and stuff have so long eaten the cheaper food that their stomachs have gotten adjusted to that. But it's the craziest thing ever. Because like literally they tell me sometime, they say, yeah, I believe that too, Rico. That they want to do. Yeah, they want. Yeah, I believe that too. And Rich, yep, is too rich. I mean Russell is too rich, but it's crazy. Like you say, they try to feed the cheaper food, Rico, because they don't know if the other people can afford it. But it's like they get adjusted to it. And like seriously, like cause I thought they was bullshitting. He was like, "Huh, you want these bags, man?" I'm like, well, shit. I looked at them and I said, this is Blue Buffalo. Damn right I want this shit. And then the homie was like, man, just bring a couple bags of pedigree every time you come out here, and you can grab you some of this other stuff because we generally put this to the side because it messes with their stomach. Yeah, and it might be the protein or whatever, but yeah, them dogs ain't got adjusted to the, like y'all say, the old Roy. They hit them with the old Roy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got to do, Daniel. Hood dogs thrive off of that shit. And they be big and healthy. It's the weirdest shit, ain't it? That we got these so-called, high maintenance dogs. We feed these dogs old Roy. They'll die on the down spot. And if you and then you get these other dogs this $90 shit, and they like, what happened to Roy? So yeah, it's definitely a difference. But I still, like right now, I don't have it in the trunk. Okay, I took it out the trunk, but right now, I go home, I got 40, 50 pounds of chicken that I'm gonna give them tonight. So I still feed some raw, but yeah, for me, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm on a budget. I'm not doing great as far as being liquid on cash. So I make the most out of whatever I can do. So sometimes I go through Walmart and do. Oh, I see all them yellow stickers. Oh, so you got to sell it tomorrow by tomorrow. Okay, half off. And if that's the case, if it's half off chicken, well, shit, dogs gonna eat good today. And that's what happened today. I went in there, it was yellow stickers everywhere. Shit that was usually like almost $6 was like 2.75. Okay, we eating good today. Man, Rico, back in the day, the dog would just wait for scraps. I remember my I remember my uncle, dog. This is man. Hey, my uncle's child literally would eat everything that my uncle ate. Like he getting all the scraps from everything. They would have him a bucket full of scraps. The dog lived to be 152 years old, eating chitlins, uh, fat back, everything. Man, the dog had the worst diet known to man, and the dog literally lived. What's going on? Street Politic TV. And the dog literally lived forever, like on the worst diet known to man. Cause my uncle had the worst diet. He one of them skinny people that can eat everything and still stay skinny. Man, that dog lived to be old as hell and never went to the vet. That's why I say that we doing something so wrong in the bully community that our dogs, these dogs needs all the special attention, and you just see a little hood dog Motherfucker get hit by a car, roll up under the tire, pop out, limp off. You know what I'm saying? A couple days later, he come back out. He still got a limp, but he healing up on his own and shit. He ain't even got no owner. He's still in the trash can. And we got these dogs that's eating, you know what I'm saying, $100 a bag food, and the bag is only 30 pounds, and they still can't. They still having allergies and shit, hair falling out and all kind of shit. It's terrible, man. And that's why I say we got to do so much better. You know, and I mean, this is something that, I think really one of the main reasons with the bullies why, and Enrico, you definitely remember this, when they went blue crazy. I noticed the difference when people really wanted blue dogs and they started doing all that blue breeding, which a lot of it was inbreeding, the same dog, same bloods, still trying to pull blue. That really pulled a lot of allergies, because before the heavy crazy influx of blue dogs went on, you didn't see all these allergies. You know, not even with our dogs. You didn't see all these allergies, but it was a thing, and I don't know how it is now. I don't have a ton of blue dogs, but I remember back in the day, like, that was the number one thing. If you had a blue dog, people knew your dog had allergies. You know, I just think when you look at the patterns of breeding that people do, we can learn a lot from the past. And it seems like every time with these fads, and unfortunately the American bully world is a designer breed world. Every fad that comes along, people breeze towards that fad like horribly crazy, right? And when they do that, it creates a new problem. I don't know if y'all heard me talk about this in my video, and it was bound to happen, but what are those son of a bitches? The Merles. Steph got on here and talked about it. Oh yeah, with a ruptured uterus, I wouldn't try to breed again. Now I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this discreetly. Everything would have to be surgical if you were doing anything with a uterus problem, prolapse or whatever. But the one thing you do want to remember is any uterus, so something to keep in mind. But man, where was I? Oh, the Merles. I've been hearing a lot about this, and actually, I've talked to several veterinarians now, and it's been coming a thing that these Merles French bulldogs, these Merle bullies and shit, they're having a lot of seizures. To the point that one specific kennel down here is literally starting to advise them to not do cosmetic surgeries because of the amount of oh, much love, Ryan. They gonna be some nice boys. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be some nice boys. Hopefully I'll have some more Tommy puppies coming up pretty soon. He putting in his work, man. But what we have, I'm gonna tell y'all the biggest thing that y'all gonna see, and this is a prediction. This is no facts to it. Just based off of some factual information. The next pandemic in the bully world that we're gonna see is the issues with the Merles. You see it every time. When a fad comes in, people go crazy about that fad. But we've told them for years, the worst fad that you can fall into is the Merle one, because a few generations in, they're gonna start defining out. The seizures are already picking up. Wait till the dogs starting to turn white. Wait till the dogs start going deaf and blind. And I already heard a couple people had deaf and blind puppies and shit. They're gonna, all for the love of a dollar. Everybody has Merles now. I think I was telling y'all on one of the lives, man, the other day, out here in Houston, they found a storage unit full of Merle French Bulldog puppies that probably would have died in another 2 or 3 days because they abandoned them. That just tells you how the game is going. Who y'all know that's supposed to just give up on Merle puppies like that? They can't sell that shit. They can't sell it because the market is too flooded. If you go on like Puppy Find and PetFind.com, which I just go on there to see how many fucking dogs are on there. And believe it or not, on Puppy Find and Pet Find, .com, you'll find plenty of Merle this and Merle that. There's shit that they telling y'all, oh, this is 15 G's. If you ain't got the money, then I don't know what to tell you. This is 20 G's. You got to have top dollar to get this shit. Dog, you can get any of that. What's going on, Rican Blues? You can get that shit anywhere, bro. Anywhere. Anywhere. Hear what I tell you. Anywhere. Nobody want that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then if y'all want to know, I am going to ban Merles in general. Now, this is one of the things, and I talked to counseling that, um, yeah, you can get Merles anywhere, man. When y'all come to the registry, y'all gonna see some things that y'all gonna be T tripping, and I know y'all gonna beat me up for it. But this is a natural process that we have to go through also. And part of that process is we do have a cutoff on generations. And this is what I mean. If you look back on some of the dogs that will be registered in the registry, it's a chance that you'll find like a dog that y'all know I totally disagree with, like Miyagi, 10 generations back, right? 9 generations back. The reason you'll find this there, and it's not me being a hypocrite, is this. After talking to our board, after talking to several people who are going to help run our board, and some very, very experienced breeders and judges, for one, once you get back around 6 or 7 generations, that means that dog will be under 1% of the blood. For two, the registry would be in a problem. And this is the problem. We would have to have the resources to hire people to study pedigrees back to 10, 11, 12 generations. Y'all have to remember that dogs like Miyagi are so old and they were bred so crazy that they literally have 12 generations of dogs. We literally can't afford to go back past that, probably 8, 9 generations. So it's a possibility that somewhere in our gene pool, like 0.25%, you could find Miyagi back there, or you could find a Merle. And this is basically every registry does this, so this is not something new. But it's a thing of where we can't do infinite pedigree searches. If y'all understand what I'm saying, like it would take too much time. Even for myself, knowing some of the pedigrees, think about this. If once we get to that point that you have 100, 200 pedigrees coming in a day, even myself, each individual pedigree would take me to research it. If I researched it to that level, probably closer to a half hour to an hour, with me knowing a lot of the dogs. So with people who are not knowing them like I know them, each individual pedigree would take over an hour. Think about how upset you would be and how backed up we would be. So we did do a cutoff of generations, but it's nothing like you can't have no damn Miyagi as a great-grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. It would just basically be to the point that we can't see it anymore. And that's just something you have to do because we and these dogs have gotten old enough. Oh, Ryan, how do I feel about Hangman, the Nationals winner? I think he's beautiful. I don't like the pedigree. I won't lie with you about that. But him himself, Rico sent me some stuff that made me sort of open my eyes to the way he was breathing. But the look, let's just say that. The look, beautiful dog. He moved well. His proportions are well. His top line is very, very well. I mean, he's a very nice dog. I think, I'm not, I'm not one way or the other. I always be fair. I do have my things. Like I told you, I don't like Miyagi blood, and we're going to try to keep it out of our registry as much as possible. If it's something up front, you'll never see Miyagi up front. And what I mean up front is somewhere in the first 7 generations where it's easy for us to look. And you think about if you do what percentages of 7 generations is, that shit is under 1%. But if it's something easy for us to find, we'll get rid of it. And we don't have a problem getting rid of it because we know it's French Bulldogs. And, if there's exotics there, we have to get rid of it. Well, see, Rico, we discussed that. The problem The problem with the computer program is that I was actually taught. I have to discuss this with your girl too. But my computer tech said that one of the problems is trying to research the pedigrees that way and having a computer do it. It generally wants to, like most programming, wants to stop about 10 generations back. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very, 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 very hard. That's why we was getting at that. They said it would be very, 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 very hard. I don't want it to be used at all. You know what I mean? And several other dogs. I'm not gonna just pick on Miyagi, because we pick on Miyagi, but we sit here and act like we don't see what's going on with Rocco. And there's going to be a decision made with that type of blood when you start talking about the Brims and Grims of the world, where they're obvious English bulldogs. This is going to be things, and like I say, I'm hoping that we get enough computer talent in here and enough funds that one day we can totally erase them all out of the pedigree. You know what I mean? Because it's a totally different breed. You see the mixes in there right now. As an up and coming registry, we're just limited in some ways that I would love to have it just like Rico said, to where we can go back and boom, anything in there. We could go all the way back to Cairo and tear your ass up. But the problem with the American Bully is it's getting old, and the older it gets, the worse it gets, because American Bully breeders breed at a high rate. American Bully breeders are truly the one breed, I'll say, that, well, it's out of side of exotics, that a lot of American Bully breeders in our community, and we know which community really does it inside the American Bully community, but they believe in breeding at a year old a lot. And some breeders literally breed everything at a year old. Some breeders, Bashar, breeds before a year old. The ABKC has registered them. So the clusterfuck that we run into is this breed being over 20 years old now, is that certain dogs like a Dax, which at this point I think Dax would be about 14, if I'm not mistaken. Well, Dax, this is the craziest thing, and y'all do some research on this. Dax only supposed to being 14 years old literally is in the 12th generation of some dogs. It's amazing that literally you had 12 generations of people who said, you know what, we're going to breed these dogs at a year or younger. That's basically the average of it. But Dax is back to the 12th generations of some dogs. So you could imagine what the next upcoming years, do. So right now, the position we're in, I'm just being very, very honest with y'all, is we're just going to do the best to try to eliminate everybody out of the first 10 generations. Because, as we go along, we can start to do it more and more. But we want to try to totally eliminate it, especially Miyagi and especially some of these exotic type dogs. But it's a task, and I feel bad, and not really, but I feel bad when I used to be up on the ABKC so tough about not going back on pedigrees until I had a talk with. I got friends with the UKC, by the way. If y'all know, John was for once was a all breed judge. I think he's still technically an all breed judge over there, but I have a lot of people who work over there. And this is one of the reasons, if you do a DNA like challenge with the UKC, I've heard people complain about the UKC. They don't want to fuck with it because it's almost too much money. Not even almost, it is too much money. They would have to pay their employees like crazy to filter through all of the bullshit of the American Bully. So, I'm willing to go and do it, but I promise y'all, the clusterfuck that we see in the American Bully, and I'm gonna keep using that term, it is horrible. It is horrible. Like, do y'all understand that the 3, let's say 3 now, the highest bred dogs in the history of this breed, which I will say we can agree on, is definitely Dax. Rocco is in that ballpark, and Miyagi was bred right along with Dax at an incredible rate. All dogs that you would, by all intents and purposes, would really like to see minimized or totally out of the breed were bred astronomically. This is guesswork, but I'm telling you, literally all American bullies today that exist that are live with hearts that are beating, at least half of those dogs, and that might be even be low, but at least half of all dogs that are American bullies have Dax, Miyagi, or Rocco currently. And of course, I believe Rocco has, I'm pretty sure he has Dax in him anyway. So, but this is the thing that you're dealing with. Now, when you start taking into the fact that a lot of these dogs have exotics, so let's not forget that, because a lot of dogs in this breed that won't have Dax on their pedigree or whatever, or Miyagi, they actually, you go back and that's like Rocco, which actually Rocco stuff comes from an exotic. I mean, comes down the line from Dax, but his dogs are exotics. The original dogs were great. What happened is that you had somebody who was willing to sell out the breed. There was never a reason for, to be honest with you guys, there were never a reason for you to use Dax. Like, there was never a reason at all to use Dax. It was one of the silliest things ever to use Dax. You know, it was never a reason to. The dog, when you look at Dax, he was Dax was it was like, sometimes you wonder why. I never can figure it out. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Dax himself was actually like, when he was brought into the fold, I was actually in prison. You know what I mean? Dax, his reign of terror actually came like shortly after I went to prison. So with him coming in like that, I could never. I wasn't there when I got out. He was in full stream, and I could never figure it out, because when I went in, which was in 2008, Rico can tell you, in 2008 we was never doing any shit like that. Like, that was so far gone. I mean, Red Dog, it was a reign of terror. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, like, I came, because the people were sending me shit, right? Because when I was in jail, I was, I was like a rock star in that motherfucker. I was getting packages every day. I was getting Atomic Dog magazines. You know what I mean? I'm on the phone setting up breedings and all kind of shit. They're serious. That's why some of my champions, including Castro, I was organizing them breedings from the penitentiary. I'll never lie to y'all about this shit. I was on lockdown, you know what I'm saying? But that was how I passed my time. So people, I was having pen pals that would literally like send me in their pedigrees and everything. I write them back what I thought about it. That's how I passed time by. But it was tripped out, right? Because people was telling me about this dog Dax, and they like, man, yeah, Dax is taking off. I don't know what about Dax's Miyagi is taking off. And keep in mind, like, I'm like, Dax Miyagi. I'm like, okay. So then they start sending me pictures of the dog, and I'm like, this shit can't be real. So I'm thinking, what you would think if you was locked away from the world. Like, okay, I got a couple motherfuckers that's tripping. But then I got out, and I'm like, wow, Dax. You know what I'm saying? And then it became like, as soon as I hit the streets, it was Dax versus Denzel. Then it was Denzel versus Miyagi. And for me, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was caught off guard, because I'm like, why is they so interested in Denzel being like the rival to these dogs? But the longer I was around, the more I started to figure it out, that like, this shit was that strong, and Denzel was pretty much the face of the American bully, like the old American bully by this time. He had won nationals, and he was like one of the last of the Mohicans that was popular that would combat this shit. And it was sort of heavy, bro, because it was going. Like, that Dax reign of terror, And me that and the craziest part, and this is, I guess this is just the American Bully luck. Dax and Miyagi happened at the same time. So you went from never seeing anything that even remotely looked like Dax or Miyagi. Like all of our shit was just sort of pretty much like, you know, it was American Bully. Even if you go back to the G2 dogs and different stuff like that, and some of the more, you know, the other stuff that that Ed Shepherd had, none of that shit looked like that. Like when I seen the video of Dax, it really fucked me because I'm like, he fucked up. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, no hate. When I first saw a video of Dax, I'm like, he fucked up. Then when I got a chance to lay eyes on him, I was really like, damn, he really fucked up. And to this day, it always amazes me, like, that it happened like that. And this is not throwing shade. If you got Dax in your pedigrees, you love Dax and everything. Yeah, Rico, it was back to back. It always fucked me up because Miyagi, I seen with my own fucking eyes, Jack. Miyagi changed. It was two different dogs. And everybody, like, I'm like, we not going to discuss the elephant in the room? We not going to discuss that this motherfucking dog's whole color pattern just changed? The white on his shit start going up his neck when it was here? We not going to discuss that the dog used to have white paws and he ain't got white paws no more? And you're seeing this, and it's like, it was some trippy shit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. DeVille, I think that would be probably best, because the thing that I know about, if it's all of the Iron Cross stuff that I've seen, Iron Cross sort of stuck to a lot of, you know, the original stuff. Iron Cross, when I seen their stuff, I actually bought some collars off Iron Cross back in the day. So unless they changed something, when I seen Iron Cross, they had the old school XL big, you know, American Bullies, you know. So I think that would be a good idea because it would keep that blood clean. Yeah, now, yeah, y'all talking about, y'all laughing. Literally, Miyagi lost 3 inches overnight. We seen it all happen, and this is tell you how crazy this American Bully world that we live in, how crazy it is, right? Because what's astounding about this part of the American Bully world is this: we seen one of the most popular dogs in the breed morph like 13 times into a different dog, and no one said a word. They kept breeding to the motherfucker. I tell you. Now, Rico, y'all know I'm going to talk about this shit. Y'all talking about he got shorter. Because a lot of y'all don't know, the original Miyagi was closer to 17 inches. He was damn near Rose height. This is the part that really tore my ass up. When the motherfucker turned into a tri. When Miyagi turned into a tri and put on that Christmas sweater and nobody said it, I said, nah, I got to speak on this shit. Oh, no problem, DeVille. I got to speak on this shit. When that motherfucker went from being blue to like a chocolate-ish tri and he put a Christmas sweater on, I said, you know what? This is the end of this shit. Somebody got to say something. I said something and everybody in America called me a hater. I said, fuck y'all. Because this didn't make no sense. We was all looking at it and it's like, don't nobody say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Like nobody would say anything. But as soon as I said it, it was like the floodgates opened up. I remember John Smith. John Smith got to making things and he put up a Miyagi lineup. And y'all remember poor Ed Shepherd. And I tell this story 100 times. Poor, God rest Ed. You know what I'm saying? Much love to Ed. Damn it. Ed thought he was helping Miyagi, so Ed jumped in the story and Ed was like, no, that's not Miyagi. Everybody knows I bred the Miyagi. He didn't have no white paws. The Miyagi community turned on the Dax community because Ed didn't know that they had changed the dog and he wasn't helping the case. Damn it, that was a hell of a thing because now you talking about 2 good days of entertainment. It only lasted about 2 days. But when you had the Miyagi world attacking the Dax world, because the Dax world, they had a lot of nerve, but they start calling the Miyagi dogs Frenchies. Like, y'all get the fuck out of here. How y'all gonna talk to Ed like that with your punk ass Frenchies? And then the Frenchie people, which was the Miyagi people, was like, man, fuck you, Dax can't breathe. And our friend, you know, it was wild. Like, you had two fucked up dog communities just arguing with each other. This was like the greatest 2 days of my life. Like, I'm just, you know, outside of my kids being born, I'm just looking at these crazy motherfuckers and they going back and forth. And then in the middle of all this shit, some dude posted a Dax dog that Ed Shepherd didn't like. I'll never forget this. And Ed said, no, that can't be a Dax dog. So the dude start, like, I guess what we call it, screenshot. He starts showing where he didn't send Ed the money. Ed sent him the semen. He was like, bro, this is the dogs that came off the puppies. Man, Ed deletes the motherfucker, right? He deleted him off the Dax page. I used to be on the Dax page. So when he deleted the dude off the Dax page, you know, they ain't give a fuck. The Dax page had 90 million people, just like they had dogs. He come back under a fake screen name and put up the post like, damn, Ed, you ain't have to delete me. You should have just told me it wasn't up to par. I said, shit. Then the Miyagi people start getting on Ed about that shit, man. This was some of the wildest days in American bully history, and we forget it. And the craziest part, I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all want to know the irony of all this shit, during this time, and Rico can tell y'all, during this time, me and Dave Wilson was still pretty close friends. And it was a time when Dave used to, like, fry them dogs. He used to talk about it was immoral to be breeding that Dax shit. Ed Shepherd was a joke. He was messing up the bully lines. Everybody knows that Dax is unhealthy, which was hypocritical, by the way, because he the one that made the damn extreme class and helped Ed Shepherd make Dax a damn, grand champion or whatever. But you know, he would go in on the Dax shit. Then he would go in on Miyagi. That's why they banned Miyagi. Dave was going in on these dogs. And now to see him morph the whole registry into the dogs that, like, exotics. Dave did a long ass, like, live where he talked about how the exotics had dwarfism and they had Down syndrome, which technically dogs don't have Down syndrome, but it is something that mimics Down syndrome, sort of the same. But he did the whole thing about the Down syndrome and dwarfism thing, and how the exotic community was the worst thing ever to happen in the breed, and they should stop breeding and shit. This was Dave Wilson. Now you look at the registry and the Dax Ed Shepherd shit that he talked about on there. He's breeding. You know what I'm saying? He got a little Miyagi blood now. And then to top it all off, exotics are welcome to the ABKC. This is the fucking world we live in. And y'all think I'm crazy. I'm a little bit crazy. But damn, I ain't never did no shit like that. I ain't never did no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You in this world we live in, you get broke down nowadays for being consistent. You know what I mean? And I mean that in every level of my life. And I don't want y'all to think I'm going somewhere south, but I was just like, I listened to these preachers and I listened to these people. Appreciated Chris and Ultimate Opportunist. But you know, sometimes I listen to motivational speakers. I listen to Grant Cardone, Jill Robbins, Tony Robbins, TD Jakes, my man Brown, Les Brown. You know what I'm saying? I listen to a lot of people who make a lot of sense. But isn't it ironic that we live in a time where the least attractive trait for people is consistency? You know what I mean? And I know that sounds strange, but when you think about this world that we live in, consistency, which used to be valued, is very, very much so not valued anymore. People would like to hang on to a dream instead of nourish a disappointing reality. And you know, Like, and I always looked at it as strange because even I noticed, and this is off topic, but think about this. Even as you notice with fathers nowadays, right? And a lot of y'all will understand this. The least appreciated people in the world is fathers nowadays, you know? But the most desired thing in the world is absent fathers. Y'all get what I'm putting down? And I noticed this, and I'm not talking about myself, you know, well, I've been through that. But the world will beat up a man for walking away from his kids, as they should. The world will beat up a man who doesn't do for his kids, as they probably should. A world will beat up a man who doesn't spend time with his kids. But the world will totally go silent for the man who does all those things. We live in a strange society where everybody wants and desires everything, but what's their consistency is consistently is the least valued thing. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a girlfriend, but once they get one, I wish this bitch would leave me alone. You know, all these women, oh, I wish I had a man, but as soon as they get a man, they find every way to degrade that man and try to put that man down, and he's not what they wanted it to be. You know what I mean? It's a shame, you know what I mean? I mean, the thing of it is and the funniest thing is like I say, y'all see what I mean. You know what I mean? We live in a world where y'all saw the little hater jump up there and he has something to say, and I just delete that shit now. I don't have time for that shit. Because as we talk about our world and our society, our world is flipped into a matrix, right? Because like I told y'all, even at the end of the day, you know, some individuals, oh, Chris, all you do is do this and all you do is do that. Y'all see the millions of pages that people make up to come on my page to talk about this. And somehow in our community, some people respect that. And I don't come from a world where we do that at. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day am I the only one that finds it weird that a grown man or woman makes a fake page to go on other people's social media to talk shit? Like, how sad does your life have to be to do that? You know what I mean? How sad? My life has taken a change, and I know this is off topic, but I want y'all to sort of look at this going into 2024, what we value as a society and how our society has gotten so mixed up, right? That I've watched my own social media, right? And I've watched so many people come on here and talk about how great things have been with me. I post their dogs. I do all these things, and I'm not looking for a pity party at all. Fuck the motherfuckers. I could give two fucks less. Y'all know that. But nobody acknowledges the fact that you see all of these dogs, right? Nobody acknowledges the fact that I have all of these champions, more champions than anybody in breed history and more historical championships than anybody in breed history. So many people using my blood. So many people coming on the page and saying, yeah, I just got this nice dog from T. I got that nice dog from T. I did this, I did that. Nobody hears that, right? But an individual who makes a fake screen name, takes the time to make fake screen names and jump all over posts and come on people's pages just to talk shit, not to talk dogs, yells out nonsense with no validity, somebody has their ear. I've went through a matrix this year in the fact that I've watched a grown man who bragged about me doing so miraculous things for him to help him get his breedings done. Going out of my way. Very, very little money. All of these things. You know? Hey, Chris, much love, brother. Where did we go? And it's not about me. Y'all know I could give two fucks less. But where did our society turn so fucked up that men are so bitch-like? And I mean this. And this is where our American bully community is. And I'll tie all this together if y'all stick with me for a couple minutes. We've seen so many people do so much bitch shit in this community and in this world that we don't recognize real anymore. You know what I mean? My grandmother told me something. My grandmother's 93 years old, and she always drops those jewels. And I've heard other people say this, but, you know, my grandma was, you know, me and her talk very, very, you know, freely. Grandma know what be going down. And grandma always said, she said, baby, well, if you think that all these motherfuckers is crazy, why would you want them to identify with you? If you think the majority of that world is crazy and they hate you, why do you think that that's a failure? She said the failure would be that these people wouldn't go out their way to do these things. And that's where I'm at. That's why I'm so at peace, and that's why I don't want to whoop nobody's ass no more. I'm so at peace with this whole thing, and that's why we're going forward, because I'm identifying that that world is not for me, and it's probably not for you. I can't rationalize making up fake pages and going people, oh, you scam. I seen a brother this year literally say that he sent me a deposit, and because somebody told him, that the dude that told him that I did great business with him said that he heard that I did bad business with somebody else, and he didn't send the rest of the $3,000 that he owed me, but he literally did 4 videos and went on an interview with everybody, said he got scammed. And finally somebody from the exotic community stepped up and said, dude, if you didn't send him the other $3,000 that you owe him, how were you scammed? You stopped paying him because somebody told you that you wasn't gonna get your dog, even though he was calling you, telling you that you can come get your dog in person. And the exotic community start busting the dude's head. But this is what I'm telling y'all, and this is why I use myself as that example, but now I'm gonna loop it in, and I said it would make sense. Y'all have watched certain people in this community lie a lot about what the dogs are supposed to be. Y'all see bulldog mixes right in front of your face. Y'all see dogs limping right in front of your face. Y'all have seen these so-called great breeders brag about the number of breedings that they're doing and how people are paying $50,000, $10,000, $20,000, $5 million, this, that, and the other, and all of the bullshit, right? But this is the crazy part. Much love, Chris. I can't wait till we get these things done, brother. We've seen these things, but yet and still our community don't talk about them the way that they can talk about the people they talk about. Y'all have went with this whole Denzel had bad semen, even though Denzel has all these puppies, all these champions, and they're all using his blood shit so long that it's silly. Like, well, which one is it? But yet and still, when a broke down snaggletooth, half a tooth clown jumps on alive with a dog that can't breathe and is talking shit and angry because all I said is that you should never breed a dog that can't breathe and needs a surgery to fix it, you have people that clung on to that. This is the Matrix. Literally, what I'm telling you guys to do is not breed unhealthy dogs. But y'all got caught up in the lie. Y'all ever heard of the Richard Pryor joke? When Richard Pryor say that, you know what I'm saying, he married a chick and she came in one day and he was in there fucking the hell out of this other chick. And she said, Richard, how dare you? And he said, what? And she said, you're fucking another woman. And he said, bitch, who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes? This is the world we live in. Y'all see everything that's happening in front of you, but you will let a motherfucker tell you that your eyes is lying. You see that Dave Wilson has turned our breed into the muscle tone bullies, and now is going out of his way to discredit 20 years of great work and breeding, knowing that they've mixed a bunch of shit in. They're pushing and promoting unhealthy dogs like King Kong having grand championships. They're pushing and promoting these people like rodent bullies and some of them who've had dogs die in Home Depot just walking around, and now they want to unfreeze some of this dog's semen that just fell out and died at 18 months old. They want to push a clown that knows nothing about dogs, but he wants to tell you that the whole reason he's upset is he lost money because people pulled out because my dog can't breathe. Literally, your dog is sitting there breathing. I really don't know Hangman's pedigree. I didn't take the time. I'm sorry, DeVille. I never took the time to see it or deal with it. People sent me some things and they said he has some Miyagi in there. But y'all seen what Bashar has done. The funniest thing about it is that you see all these fake profiles and everything like that, but y'all saw a whole video and what, 30, 40 pictures of Bashar's dogs in horrible conditions, falling over, some of them dead, mucus, blood everywhere, and nobody said a word. Y'all see Dave Wilson going around the whole entire country with this guy. This guy is in the show. They're promoting muscle tone. Bashar comes on and tells y'all that the breed has been rewritten after his dogs in 2017, which, by the way, 2017 was the year after Mr. Beans damn near had a heat stroke in a 70-degree air-conditioned building, and they were rubbing him down with ice. And Ron Ramos claims that the ABKC forced him to push Mr. Beans. Beanstalk's eyeballs are touching each other like a cyclops. They're doing stack offs, and the dog he does a stack off with later dies, throwing up vomit in the bed with his dog. And the dog wasn't, I mean, with the guy's son, and the dog wasn't even 3 years old. This is what y'all really see, but nobody is alarmed by this. Y'all saw the videos of Dax years ago where he could barely walk, could barely breathe. The dog dies fucking or trying to fuck, and y'all still got a problem with my message of breed healthy dogs. And y'all think that I'm upset that these type of people disagree with me? I really, really can't. Yeah, things ain't been the same, Rico. It's an amazing game that y'all play where it's so much wrong in this community, but the only thing that y'all can hang on to try to do is discredit somebody and talk about, oh, it's a scam. Oh, it's a scam. I wonder, what's the biggest scam? The biggest scam when you change a breed in front of people, when people send in DNA profiles to be checked out, and y'all lie and say that this shit matched when y'all know it didn't because they double checked with another place. Is it a scam when you sell somebody a dog that you know is going to have a surgery just to live a halfway normal life and be able to breathe? Is it a scam when you put on paperwork that it's one thing and you know you jacked off a bulldog in the back room? Is it a scam when you're faking health certificates to send dogs overseas, and when they get there they got 5th-degree heart murmurs and the dogs are falling apart to the point that the governments want to put them down? Is it a scam when a ton of people made a breed that was successful worldwide and you decide to change it and down everybody and stab everybody in the back, and then turn around and lie to the people in the UK because you refuse to stop taking money from breeders, including Bossy Kennels, that you knew was adding the South African Boer Bull and other dogs that will bite, and people have been murdered by these dogs, and you still have yet to do anything but take GoFundMe money, and you haven't done anything to help the UK. I know that was a lot to digest, so many wrongs, but really, what was the fucking scam? Y'all got so much to talk about, scam this, scam that. I've never sold anybody a dog that fell out and died. No one has ever had to buy dogs from me that they had to have a surgery for the dog to fucking live. My dog sunbathe. I've never changed the breed standard to fit what I was trying to buy. I've never sat up and lied to the community about what the dog was supposed to be. I've never stabbed all of my friends who helped me put their money and their time forth when I was a gardener and couldn't afford to do shit, and just go ahead and stab everybody in the back, take over the breed to sell out to some dude who is a fucking cell phone salesman just to rob and get a couple dollars, and you destroyed all of that work. Y'all talk about scamming. These motherfuckers is stabbing dogs in the back. I've never poisoned a man's dogs, Dave. Never. So what's the real scam? I've never had somebody give me their stud so I could get a breeding done and take the dog to the doctor and then try to Photoshop and do all kind of weird pictures after I post pictures all online and thanking the person and talking about how great it is and me and my wife is posed up with the dog. What kind of motherfucker do you got to be? Y'all answer that question. What kind of motherfucker do you really got to be for a person to be helping you and the whole time you're plotting to stab them in the back and try to make them look bad? But these is y'all heroes. This is the community. This is why I said I'm wrapping this shit up in 2023 and we getting back to real dogs. Remy, Paco, Denzel, you name it. Bistro, I don't give a shit. Nemesis, you name it. Juan Gotti, Monster J. Let's throw in a little bit of Monster G and Rockin' Ruby, Toxic. Give me real dogs that can breathe and that can exist and that can move, have great movement, great flow to them. And let's push forward with some real shit. Because the things that these people represent is just as fake and just as phony as they are. If you want to sit here and you want to tell me that you believe that Brim and Grim are real American bullies and they derive from the dogs that we made this breed from, well, damn it, I got some land right there on Mars that I can sell you for a good price. The fuck is wrong with y'all? If you're going to tell me that you feel like there's nothing wrong with the condition of the dogs that we see in the ring today, and yet and still you want to talk about scam and this and that and the other, man, fuck you. What's going on, GP? What we see in this community is a travesty, and y'all wonder why we are the #1 target of animal rights groups. We are the #1 target of the Veterinarian Society. We are the #1 target of several politicians now as cities start to ban these dogs, is because our community is living in the matrix, but the rest of the world are looking at us as scumbags if we have people like the ABKC, Dave Wilson, and the rest of those clowns that are promoting unhealthy dogs and a bunch of very, very immoral shit with these dogs. This is why we are looked at this way. And the longer that people turn a blind eye and are really trying to do it, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And look, another fake profile. You talking about Tone exposed. What did Tone expose, you cowardly son of a bitch? And I will get you off of here. You feel me? It's that simple. You know what I mean? Yeah, we will get you off of here. Talking about Tone and it, nobody exposed anything. Tone and Joel made up a bunch of fucking lies. It wasn't no exposing of anything. Tone was the son of a bitch I was talking about that literally went on there and bragged about the fact that I was helping him and later on stabbed me in the back. Joel exposed what? Them 3 teeth in his mouth. Joel also exposed the fact that he talked about my kids in a disrespectful manner and tried to play tough guy, mafia, hitman, and everything else. He exposed himself because of all that tough guy shit that he tried to do on the internet. Guess what happened? When I invited him to meet up with me and get knocked the fuck out in Houston, Texas, and I'm just being real with y'all, he came on live and told y'all, oh, I'm non-violent. What happened to your karate suit? What happened to the fact that the mafia hired you as a hitman? What happened to the guy who drove all the way through Rhode Island to come whoop my ass? These dudes is better than Disney. They're fictional dudes. And when you put real pressure on them, they bitch out and they cower out and they go. Anybody can make up a story. Anybody can make up a story. They expose their own dogs, talking about 20% of our dogs have breathing issues. And y'all here talking about what somebody exposed. Expose me how? If we talking about record books and we talking about numbers, I could arguably be the greatest breeder in this breed's history. First this, first that, first this, first that, most this, most that, most that. This, that. You don't want to see reality, because the reality is I just posted a 9-month puppy that destroys anything that they've ever bred, and I guarantee you he's going to be better than that. I produced one of the greatest dogs of all time in Denzel. My line throughout the breed history has been arguably the most successful breed. And why I say arguably is because Marco Suarez, his dogs, is attached to my dogs because I used his dogs in my program, and a lot of them have Paco's blood in there. But outside of that, if you want to talk about D-line, what Denzel represented, and everything else, bro, y'all can't keep on telling the same lie. It's no way that my blood is one of the most popular bloods in the world, the most successful blood in the world, the most championships in the world, first ever 3 registry champion, first ever 3 registry grand champion, first champion ever, first dog to win on 2 different continents. We can keep on talking about first. If I never produced dogs, if I never sold anybody dogs, if I never sent anybody semen, how do all of them have my blood? If you want to talk about exposing, Disney wrote you a story about women, mermaids swimming around in the ocean. The girl was fine as hell. Why don't you go look for the bitch? And I'm sorry to call that girl a bitch because I think she's very, very attractive. But anybody can write a story, brother. Anybody can write a story, but them numbers don't lie. So either I'm one of the greatest magicians of all time to have all of the success, and not only that, to have you men in such a tizzy. You men are in a tizzy. Whether it's Joel, whether it's Tone, whether it's this person, whether it's you guys who take this time to make these fake profiles, I got you in a tizzy. Y'all not only my #1 fans, I think y'all got a thing for me. That ain't how I roll. I'm just gonna let you know. Get your ass out the air. I ain't fucking you. Stop it. And take that thing out your mouth. Because after a while, it gets annoying and it's sad. I've never seen men behave this way. You hear what I'm telling you? I've never seen men behave this way. I don't go to Dave Wilson's page under fake names. And I call Dave out and I say, bitch, you tripping. I tell him right to his face, on my page though. I don't even disrespect with going to his page. It's nothing for me to argue about because my message is to y'all about them. But when I see grown men constantly over here and they've made literally 152 lives about me, I've never made a couple. Are you serious? They made 152 lives about me. Not one live about how you should breed a healthy dog, but they've made 152 lives about me. They love me more than I love Rihanna. And that's scary, because I love the fuck out of her. Y'all have to understand, and I'm glad that those people exposed their booty cheeks as they always do. Because y'all have to understand, we're not going to do no more of this in 2024. I had fun with that right there. I wouldn't lie to y'all, but they've exposed who they are. You keep on talking about exposing. Let's talk about the real exposed. 25 years, over 25 years, this little black Portuguese boy has been involved in dogs. And over a quarter of a century, I've never produced a dog with a heart murmur. I've never produced a dog that couldn't breathe. We can talk about what I did produce. But at the end of the day, no one wants to talk about what I did produce. And that's why it's funny. Yeah, California guy, they were at nationals. And California guy, guess what I did do? You know what I did. I invited him. Joel told him on live. I told Joel because he had so much to say for a year straight, and then he disrespected my kids. I don't even have to post a message because he told y'all what I said. I said, when you get to Houston, Texas, you make sure you call me. Mike Sniper Bailey will tell y'all I messaged this dude basically every other morning and told him, no, we ain't got nothing to talk about. When you get here, you get knocked the fuck out and I'm gonna piss on your face like the bitch you is. And I'm sorry, because I know that's harsh to some of y'all, but when you talk about my kids, I turn into a whole different animal. Ain't heard nothing. I'm not violent. Oh, you just, oh yeah. No, come see me. See, that's what I'm saying, dog. And that's why I said I'm leaving it alone, because real recognize real, and we definitely recognize fake. Ain't no grown man. I don't give a damn if you Mike Tyson. You'd never talk to me like I talk to him. I got to come see you. He showed the coward he is, and he went live and talked about how he was nonviolent, and all of a sudden you nonviolent. You went from a mafia hitman to you nonviolent. Yeah, you's a bitch is what you is. That was exposed. I'm just here to talk about dogs. And I believe that the reason why I was put in this position is because I got that temperament. But I'm gonna let that temperament go, because a lot of people, what they try to do to me, literally fucking with my kids, talking shit about my kids' mama, making up lies, doing all these things, calling the police on me, calling probation officers on me. Yeah, all that's factual. Sending me lawsuits. I still got the papers for that. All the shit that they did to me, a normal motherfucker would have walked away from this, but I just ain't built like that. I'm a very confrontational type of guy, so it didn't do nothing but spark the juices in me. You know what I mean? Literally. But that's all stuff that they did just to try to keep me quiet. That's all facts. Y'all know this. They can't debate that. 2016 Nationals, they had 4 police officers waiting for me at the door. They had my picture up on the wall like I was, what they call it, bit of the kid or some shit. Like I was coming in there with my 2 6-shooters. Okay, gotcha, bang, bang, bitch. Yeah, just like that. Called the police on me, had me, Big Kev arguing with him like, come on, man. Dave hiding up in the bleachers wouldn't even face me like a man. Only motherfucker who faced me like a man in the whole motherfucking building was Sean Jackson. Sean Jackson came to the door and said, nah, man, you ain't supposed to be here, dog. They called the police on you. I'm gonna go tell Dave to come holler at you like a man. But I won't even lie on Sean. Sean came right to me. He the only one out of that whole clique. Bashar, all the motherfuckers, they hid. They all talk shit though, but they hid. This is what I'm telling y'all. These is y'all heroes. This is who you, oh, they exposed you. Tone waited till he left Houston and then started doing lives and talking crazy. They gonna text me talking about, oh, I'll take an ass whooping as you will. I exposed this character. Y'all talking about exposing. They've all been exposed. Ain't none of them built like that, man. They are gossip mongers. They are literally the National Enquirer of the bully world. I want to talk dogs. I want to talk about how Oscar the Grouch's shoulders is all fucked up and that dog will not be able to walk in the next 3 years. I want to talk about that. I can show you medical charts and I can tell you exactly what's wrong with him. I can get 2 veterinarians to break that dog down. I want to talk about why is it that it's sad that we got to talk about why you shouldn't be breeding a dog with a elongated palate. It's sad that we got to talk about that, but this is the motherfucker y'all listening to. His most famous dog is a dog that's literally after the motherfucking surgery, he's still sitting there. Y'all really fucking with me? Really? My dog's out this motherfucker laid over, getting suntans on their stomach and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a pretty Puerto Rican. And the next thing you know, come on, man. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Y'all talking about Dave Wilson and y'all literally still, let's talk about this motherfucker since y'all got me going. I got 4 more minutes. What dog has Dave Wilson produced? I promise you can't name one. Little Row. Name something after Little Row that Dave Wilson produced. Since y'all look up to this dude so much. Keep in mind, if Little Row was living, Little Row would be well over 20 years old by now. I had Little Row stay with me for about a year. That was like 2005. At that point, Little Row was already about 4 years old. So that if you take it back to 2000, yeah, he would be over 20 years old. I know that because Denzel, if he was still living, would be what, 17 now? You can't name one. And if you name the Razor's Edge line, and I don't give a fuck because I know Dave listened to everything else. I'm being honest with y'all. Name a Razor's Edge dog. The only real Razor's Edge dogs that he produced And some of these are still questionable because Jenny produced some of them. I mean, Jeannie, she produced some of them. But think about this. I will name y'all dogs that y'all think is Razor's Edge dogs that have nothing to do with him at all. Demon Boy is not a Razor's Edge dog. Whatever happened to Demon Boy? That's another live. But Demon Boy was produced by Sean Jackson. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? Demon Boy had nothing to do with Dave. The stud, of course, came from Bashar. The bitch was owned solely by Sean Jackson. Demon Boy is like a putback deal for Dave hooking him up. Dave had nothing to do with that. Nothing. But he's called Razor's Edge Demon Boy. Hallie, I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Hallie, my bitch. The truth of the matter is this, is that Mike of Apocalypse has Shamu. They sold Shamu to the Trevinos. The Trevinos own Thug. The Trevinos did the breeding with Shamu. They own the stud. They whelped the litter. Because of Dave middlemaning the deal, he had pups coming back off of the deal. You know what I'm saying, that he did with Mike of Apocalypse. I just talked to Mike. Dave really had nothing. That was the Trevinos litter. Paco, Kurt did that litter. Paco, Toxic, that had nothing to do with him. All of the stuff that y'all hear about Excalibur, that Oscar was over there doing, Dave didn't have nothing to do with that. Remy, Dave didn't have nothing to do with that. That was not Dave's breeding. Nemesis, that was not Dave's breeding. Kamali, that was not Dave's breeding. Name another Edge dog. He didn't produce 99% of the shit that y'all call Razor's Edge bloodline today. Dave Wilson didn't have shit to do with it. Let's talk about exposing. He had nothing to do with it. Ask all of the breeders. This dude had nothing to do with it. Nothing. And motherfuckers still look up to this dude. The only reason that he has a control of the ABKC today is because he robbed a dead man. And then he turned around and the dude that he called his brother, the same motherfucker that he ran on when a fight broke out at the show, Cruz, he robbed him. That's why he had to call me to come and save his ass in 2014 at the Nationals, because Cruz was ready to do something to his ass and he was running around with a bodyguard that looked like Billy Blanks. What motherfucker you know that gotta go take a bodyguard to a show? This is the real Dave Wilson. Y'all cut it out. And Kai and Little Ro ain't even fucking brothers. Y'all cut it out. Yeah, man, yeah, he robbed a dead man. He never paid Holiday. This is why, if y'all, man, come on, bro. I'm repeating myself, but I'm being real with y'all. This is why they can't throw shows in California. Eddie from Blue Line just put it up. It's a no-fly zone. If he show his face in California, he's literally risking his life because he robbed dudes out there. He used lawyers and trickery, and he stole the part of registry from Cruz. And not only that, he stole the shit from Holiday. Holiday, to this day, all the money that Dave done made off of the ABKC, he has never paid Holiday's wife. That man passed away. Dave took that shit. Holiday was running all that shit. Dave owed him big money. Not only did he do that, he went on a live video and lied and said that he took care of Holiday while Holiday was sick and battling for his life. Holiday's wife stepped to the microphone, and some of y'all heard me say this before, but it's been verified. Holiday's wife stepped to the mic and said, I didn't even know that he knew that Holiday died. We ain't heard from this man. That's the type of motherfucking slime ball y'all dealing with when y'all vouch for Dave Wilson and Tone Roden and all them clowns over there. That's how they really roll. You go down the line and I can tell you how unethical as individual people that they are. Dave Wilson literally robbed a man that was on his deathbed and then lied and said he took care of him. Instead of while you making millions of dollars from the community that you didn't even build, couldn't even take a portion of that money and give it to this man, knowing the dire situation. You would rather tell a lie, you big nose bitch. And y'all wonder why this same motherfucker would lie about the American Bully XL not being a breed when the UK, who have registered nearly $200,000 dog, a couple 100,000 dogs over there and millions of dollars into the ABKC's pocket. He turned his back on them and lied. And then after he did that lie, he blamed it on them, saying that they was the reason and they had created something over there, but that's not really what he did. And then made a GoFundMe, and to this day still ain't did shit in the UK. That's the motherfucker that y'all be clapping for. Everything about that dude is a lie. Y'all call me a scammer. This motherfucker done scammed the whole way, his whole legacy. Ain't no such thing as no motherfucking Razor's Edge bloodline. And ain't no such thing as Dave Wilson creating no motherfucking American Bully. Come on, bro. If he created the American Bully, what the fuck was the rest of us doing? And where did he get his dogs from? What did he do? Just go in the lab and... Come on, bro. This nigga is known as an international liar, dog. He's still lying. Still lying. Lying and scamming and plotting on the naive, bro. This is what he's been doing for a long time, and I'm just being real with y'all. Y'all double check anything I say, bro. He has not made a dog since Little Road that y'all know about. I'm being honest with you. That directly comes from him. Y'all saw when Oscar Gomez was on my page and he said, Dave just put his name on everything. None of us ever did anything. All the dogs that y'all talking about, Razor's Edge, this, that, and the other, those was Elite Edge dogs. But keep in mind, the Elite Edge was a group. So we was all breeding our own dogs in the Elite Edge. He literally claims everything that came out of the Elite Edge. Man, Rico, exactly. What the fuck did the ABKC need a GoFundMe for? And they still ain't did nothing. Left the UK hanging like a motherfucker. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. This is why I'm telling y'all, I got to wrap this shit up. But this is why I'm telling y'all. The most important thing that we can do as a community, they say they don't want the real American Bully. The real American Bully is not where it's at. We the leather helmet high school guys or whatever they want to call our dogs or whatever. Remy, that ain't what we trying to do right now. Paco ain't shit. King Kamali is a classic. That ain't what it is. We've evolved to the... Okay, fine. But everybody who still wants real dogs need to, pull up. That's all I can tell y'all. They didn't evolve so much. We need to go ahead and evolve our asses away from them. Because they bad business, they bad news. And I'm telling y'all, if y'all do some research on what I'm telling y'all, every single person that Dave Wilson done fucked around with, whether it was Cruz, look at all the members in the EE that he don't talk to. Dog, the biggest scammer in the whole fucking world, Dave Wilson. Period. Who if you want to talk about, and y'all double check what I said about Holiday. Y'all ask the homies. This some of the homies from Cali right here now. It's a reason why they say no fly zone. The guy that people looking up to worldwide like he's something respectable, he literally, his greed is of such a level that he couldn't even take some of that money out the ABKC pot and pay a man that actually saved the ABKC. Holiday saved the ABKC. He robbed that man. He can't even go to Cali. He ain't welcome a lot of places, to be truthfully told. That's why they try to have nationals every year in Houston. But I hate to tell you, Dave, Houston about to be a no-fly zone for you. Imagine that. You done got too comfortable. I could tell y'all more and more, but we done ran out of time. But I could tell y'all a lot of things. But the one thing I tell y'all is it's time for us, and I just say us, not that y'all my people or nothing, but all of us that love the real American Bully. It's time. Man, Dave is the P. Diddy of the motherfucking dog world. Dave Diddy. That's what we gonna start calling that motherfucker. Dave Diddy. Cause when I tell y'all he didn't molested the whole community, he didn't strip so many people of their work. Dave then took a lot of people that got fucked by Dave. I tell you that much right now. Dave done fucked people out of their whole legacy. The Trevinos left the whole game because he didn't claimed everything that they had. They got tired of that motherfucker. It's so many people right now that don't like that motherfucker. I'm trying to tell you, y'all look, and I'm telling you, if you have time, it's a lot of time. But y'all look at all of the so-called Razor's Edge dogs that y'all think is Razor's Edge dogs and see where they come from. Ain't none of them came from Spotsylvania. DeVille, much respect, much love. I'm gonna tell y'all what. Damn, tomorrow. Yeah, it's crazy, but this is what it is, Robert Vaughn. This is the truth. I hate to tell y'all, the Razor's Edge is the biggest scam. Ain't no damn such thing as no motherfucking Razor's Edge. Is it? Come on, man. I tell you like this. He don't even mention Jeannie Howe and that. And Bobby Dean's coming out with some new shit from what I heard. He gonna tell y'all. He don't even tell y'all. He started Razor's Edge with Jeannie. His girl was really the breeder. Dave was a handler. I would hate to tell y'all the truth, but Bobby already told y'all. The motherfucker didn't even make Cairo. Jeannie did. Good Lord. Good Lord. Good Lord. Woo, when your whole legacy is a lie. The one thing you motherfuckers can't do and y'all try to lie, I made my dogs. You know what I'm saying? I made my shit. Whether you like them, whether you love them, whether you hate them, my dogs is my dogs. I ain't never had to steal a whole grown man's legacy, and I ain't never robbed a man on his deathbed. Rest in peace, Holiday. Holiday was a solid motherfucker. Like I told y'all, look, man, we gonna end this on a positive note, and this is not even being like condescending. If nothing else, y'all need to know about Holiday. And this is the way this shit went. So y'all had a real history, because I said a lot and sometimes I said too much. When we started the ABKC, it was two twin brothers, Adrian and Alfredo, cool ass dudes out in Cali. And like y'all know, starting the registry can be a lot. They actually had the office in their house, and it just, it became a bit much. Them brothers was professionals in their own right. They had their own things going on. And hey, California guy, I'm dead serious, man. We gonna be announcing some shit very, very soon. My brother Rico done hooked me up. We on a fast track. I think where I'm looking at it is that real shows is gonna start in March, but paperwork is gonna start in early February. So probably the first week of February. And we gonna go from there, and it's gonna be a lot of shows, you know what I mean? I won't be at them all because I can't be everywhere, but we'll have a crew out. But speaking of Adrian and Alfredo, it became overwhelming for them, and it was a lot of paperwork back up. The system wasn't what it was supposed to be early. This is where Holiday came in at. The ABKC was literally on life support. Nobody was getting their paperwork. Nothing was happening. Holiday reorganized everything, got the intel together, and he's the reason what you see now is the reason that it works the way it did. The only reason why the ABKC moved from Holiday to Spotsylvania is because, his situation. In that situation, and this is what was supposed to happen, Holiday has spent a lot of his own money to bring the ABKC off life support. When I say a lot, I won't tell y'all the numbers, but it was a lot of money. It was a whole lot of money. Not no chump change, not no motherfucking wristwatch, not even no Rolex. It was a lot of money. And the promise was made that he would be reimbursed for everything that he did, and he deserved that. Holiday really pumped life into this. A lot of the big trophies y'all see and shit like that, he pumped life into this shit. He brought a culture back to this shit, and it was live. And the American Bully, it's sad because of the way it happened, but the American Bully might not really exist without him, because of course without the ABKC, the name and the game American Bully probably doesn't go forward. Holiday pulled that shit from death and brought it to where it was supposed to be, and then the Dave and Deanna took over in Spotsylvania, and they ran with it, of course. But it would have never happened if it was without Holiday. And I think it's really disgusting that Dave never took care of that man. Not only did he take what Holiday had built and got back on track and made millions of dollars, but refused to play the man what amounted to be pennies in the big scope of the picture, you know what I mean, for all that Holiday did. And much love to Holiday, just like Rico said. Holiday is a fixture that a lot of times, if you don't know the American Bully history, you'll never know how important that brother was. And, you know, the ugliness of Dave has nothing to do with Holiday's legacy. He came in and he brought a lot to the table. Not just that. It's a lot of the culture that got his fingerprints on it as he started to get things going. And much love to Holiday, his family. And, you know, at some point, we need to honor Holiday. We need to honor Larry Durant. Yeah, it's funny you said Larry, you know what I'm saying? We need to honor them brothers because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, in Dave's treachery to try to be bigger than what he really is. And I'm never taking away. Dave did some things, you know. He definitely helped this community when we was pushing forward, but it's a narcissistic thing when you try to erase all of the other people's things to make your 1% 100% like you did everything. It's fucked up, really. But, you know, Larry Durant, you know, Larry was putting down big shows before the ABKC, had the BKC. Larry Durant brought the celebrity vibe, had Caesar Milan at shows, all kind of TV and movie stars, really introduced this breed to the world. These is brothers that the community needs to know about. And as you know, I didn't even put my name in there. I just want to see everybody get they just do and they respect. And it's sad that it's gotten to this point that the con artists that have erased people's history in this is now actually trying to erase the history of the dogs that built this shit. When I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I was emotional and I was enraged to see him take shots at the old dogs and try to clown Remy and try to clown Paco. It's like, what the fuck is you doing, man? You know what I mean? It's strange, man. It's strange. Yeah, rewriting history crazy, man. Hey, James, send me a text. Get with me, brother. I'll be around, man. But we ran over time, but it was always a good thing, man. Y'all know how I end all these things, man. It is the holiday season. Reach out to your folks. Let them know you love them. Let them know you care. Let them know that they got somebody. You know what I mean? So many people is going through so many struggles at this time, and you know, we need to reach out to our loved ones to make sure they're okay. And like I always say, if you're gonna drink good. Don't be drinking that Coke 45. Get you some good, you know, Hennessy or something. And if you're gonna eat good. Don't eat Domino's, you know. Go to Big Mama's house and eat some of that good old food with too much calories. If you're gonna smoke, do not smoke the shit in your grandma's backyard. Your uncle is tripping. He back there growing shit. I heard he putting fentanyl in his weed. Do not smoke that shit. He thought he could bring the levels higher with fentanyl. Don't smoke that shit. You might be on the curb shaking. And if you gonna do that thing that me and Rihanna do, man, whether you know what we do, we making these babies, man. Do it well or he or she might leave your ass. James Galloway, stay away from that Boone's Farm, but if you get Boone's Farm, make sure you're doing the Strawberry Hill. I'm telling you what, I gave a girl Strawberry Hill back in high school. Oh, glory. Anyway, I'll holler at y'all later. Much love to y'all. Peace.